the double
Okay.
discount.
Okay.
Yeah,
The biggest one I would say first is that we opened below the spike, right? That was that was pretty clear based on the price action that we've seen. Because overnight, right, or after hours yesterday, what did they do? I mean, they bounced from this level here where we had the spike, and they kind of rejected it, and they started building value overnight here. And I took a short here pre-market. I was up early because I went to sleep early as well. But I took this short close around 31 or maybe 31 and a quarter or something. And then they gave you something here as well. I mean, this was pretty good if you guys paid attention. This was the critical level for me, 86675. Does everybody understand why? Is there anyone that's like, man, that doesn't make sense? Okay, so everybody got it?
no,
Okay.
why don't you tell me? I mean, I see the clump. I guess I'm on the weekly. Yeah, just go ahead.
Yep. So when you look at this price action, I'm just going to hide the candles for a split second, and we'll bring them back on. You see that we built a lot of value here, right? I would say a majority of our value was built inside here, and that's obviously inside the prior week value. Therefore, that's a lot of volume, right? We rejected this area now. So below, you see that we had a skinny belly with a lot of poor structure, right? We opened here and we closed. So this is the day where we sold off from. This was the Thursday, right? And then the next day, we kind of confirmed, right? We opened where we closed, really right at it, and then we closed inside of it. And we called this the short cover rally. Do you guys remember when we talked about it? I said I really don't trust them and that we want to watch this level of 86, which was our first sign, I said, and the watch list prior to yesterday. I don't know what date it is today. But this was our critical level, and they went above. They offered us some, I would say, single prints on the top, some access on the top. And then they continued, and then they closed pretty much at the lows, which was inside that Friday value area low. So if you want to build value slightly below this value, meaning if you want to build value here, what do you have to hold? Well, you don't want to go below the value where you're trying to hold on that pump that you had on the short cover rally. You should not lose that. Okay. And see here now when they opened, right? Where did they open? Well, they gapped down, opened below it, and overnight was, I would say, there was a lot of opportunities for that. You see that they were kind of dancing around it. They were not liking it, right? And then they kind of sold off and opened below it, which was pretty good sign for you if you're trading, because it gave you, indication earlier. I would say if you looked at overnight and yesterday close, most people are like, oh my God, this is a dead cat. Oh, this is a bounce. We're going to all-time highs. The way they bounced, because it was like pretty aggressive, right? When you guys look at it here, where was it? Like from here, from 21 all the way to here, 880. To me, that's a pretty good bounce, right? But that's telling you there's probably some, there's some buyers coming in, but mainly driven probably by short cover, and then, they're pushing higher. But when they rejected this and they rejected this, they accepted the spike lower, that was your clear sign. Hey, we're rejecting this value here overnight. And then the spike, there was no reason not to. And then I gave you guys some levels throughout the day that I would watch for, right? And on ES, this was the levels I was watching for a bounce, 52.41, which translated to 572 on the SPY. So here's the SPY levels that I was watching. I'll just maximize here for a second. So this is the SPY levels I was watching. I told you guys 572 SPY will be a bounce. And I did tell you on this candle right here, sometimes at 3 o'clock, I said I'm closing the SPY calls. Why would I have closed the SPY calls here? And I'm giving you the picture that told me that I want to close the SPY calls.
Because you're under the value you just showed on the last screen.
Well, if you look at just this SPY here, this is my developing weekly. They bounced here before, and that's my value area high. And look at the, they had a hammer. They went above. They didn't find buyers. As soon as they did this, they dumped it pretty much to the POC. So I was able to get out, with nice profits there, about 65% on SPY. But that was the reasoning on the SPY, and the bounce also corresponded to these critical levels I had on both, right? So I think the sell-off was pretty clear, right, that it's going to happen. There was a lot of weakness. And what did they do again? Like today, similar to what they did yesterday, they came in late, right? And then they kind of pushed it lower, right? From 11:30, they grind higher. They put in new high of the day here, and probably a lot of people were looking for what? I mean, you see this candle here getting inside of this value, and look at this. I call this the tweezer top in 5 minutes. And my God, let it play out, right? If you're able to catch that, that's a pretty massive drop. I mean, you're talking about almost 100 points, right? Drop here from the top to the bottom pretty quickly. So they grind up, and there's a seller coming in pushing the price all the way down. So if you think about the price action now, what is the what is the key level that you guys should watch for tomorrow? Let me hide this. So here's your here's your 7 week weekly here. So you have, this is your January. So this is the beginning of the year right here to the right. So this was our yearly low, but then more importantly, right? If you think about February low was sitting at 58.48, which is our recent month, and I believe January is at 58.13. So if you want to remain bullish for the year, what would you want to reclaim?
That 66. I'm sorry, that
Remain bullish
48.
for the year. You want to find the lowest point of the year, and you want to stay above it because you don't want to put in a new lower low on the year, right? So higher time frames, you want to find what is the current low. And current low was 58.13. So if they can reclaim that on a higher time frame, that'd be good, because that means most likely we're gonna stop. We found some buyers. For me, for tomorrow, what would you look at from the profile standpoint? Is there anything here that's telling you maybe that we need to look at something else that happened? If the 58.13 was our January low, which is, I believe, somewhere around here, I think it was here. I had it marked on the other chart. So this is January low here. What would you want as a bull? What do you want to get out of? What is the area that you want to be out of? Does this look like like you found buyers?
It's almost a par low.
Not really.
No.
Yeah, but this is not screaming, hey, this was a great buying opportunity here. Not at least not for me. And then when you look at the price action today, if you guys split this, let's see. I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit and increase this for a moment to about 6. So A and B, pretty wide balance. And then you see, once the C high was cracked, they basically went much higher. They tried to build value above, right? And they tried to get inside the Friday value area low, and they got pretty much destroyed, right? I would say they got destroyed on this part. So now think, if you're a bull, where do you want the price to break? I'm kind of giving you hints. So here's your, Monday low is sitting right here at 22. And then, I would say the initial balance sitting here at 24, which would basically mark the balance, the high right here, where they're trying to build. So if you're a bull, where do you want to trade? Do you want to trade here, or do you want to trade here?
Above that IB.
Yeah, so I would say
above 5824.
Yeah, as long as they can. For me, I know 5813.5 is pretty big level because January low, and if they can reclaim it, that'd be good. But let them reclaim this. I would say whatever this is, 520, 5820. If they can reclaim this, it might be good here, because right now they tried to go up here, and then I think this was M period right here where they rejected that. And if M period, so Peter Stadlemeyer's idea of a spike, you can treat it differently, right? And what I mean by that, the way we look at it, the way we mark them, is the spike base is the highest period that was made. Peter also would consider that this was also a spike down away from the value, right? They were building value, and this was away from the value. So if they can reclaim, let's say 42 in his world, this would be good. But if they can, for me, if they can reclaim 20, that would be a good sign that they're most likely going to go to 42, because they would try to explore the price and see if the sellers are exhausted and they don't have inventory to sell there. Then if inventory is not here to sell, where is the seller most likely willing to sell, higher or lower? If you're a seller of shoes, you want to sell your shoes at lower prices or higher prices if there's demand for them?
Higher.
You obviously want to sell a little bit higher. So in this case, what I would watch for, right, is can they reclaim, let's say this, well, that happens to be value area high as well. If they can crack about this value area high, I would say on a really bad, let's just change this to grayish. If they can reclaim this 58.20, that would be a really good sign, and potential short cover rally would trigger, and I would say would be probably better than what we've seen from short cover rallies the days prior. Does that make sense? Because if they can reject this area right here, this would be a pretty big deal, and most likely they would do something like this, right? Would they have trouble here? Probably a little bit, right? And that's what I would watch for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll do that.
So would you take profit at the Friday value area low and then hop back in if it cracks above into that Friday value area?
Yeah, I would definitely do that, right? If I have multiple, let's say I have 2-3 contracts, maybe trim 2, keep 1, and see how it does, and then just put a trail right below it, right? So that way, if I'm stopped, I'm still making money at a desired level, right? And I wouldn't give them too much, because you saw how aggressive they were on selling out of it. So I wouldn't leave it here and probably get filled. I would trail right below it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We're still pretty far. I mean, have you guys looked at the weekly profile on this?
Yeah, we're below the weekly value.
Yep. So if you guys look at the weekly, this is your POC sitting somewhere around 45, and the value area high is all the way up here at 887. So and it's drastical shift, right? So you had the balance, you have the shift, the value is shifting nicely on the weekly. We're just in 3 days of value, but the pops are being sold pretty aggressively. Every single pop that we've had, it's been selling off. And considering, I would say below this level of 741, I would have these levels 675, 649, and then it goes 5574. And so on. And this is just, I found levels off of the weekly charts, right? On weekly PVP. And that's the levels that I was looking for here. Could you definitely switch this to a monthly time frame and look at it? Yeah, certainly. You can definitely do that. You just want to make sure that maybe you go something like this. And now you're able to see what is the market telling you. So if you guys remember, we talked about this, I would say, level quite a bit before. This was a monthly VPOC, right? And then you had a little bit of value in this area, shift, right? You see how we shifted in between here, pretty big level. And you see that we came here and it was identical setup on SPY. That's why I drew that zone. And they came back and they're defending this. So now when you look at the, if you go on continuous contract for a moment, this was the zone that I've been watching, to see if they can come back and retest it. And here, is there anything that you guys see that might be the magnet for them to revisit here? Between
Double
here.
POCs at a gap.
What about like this zone here?
Yep, there.
Yeah. So this area is probably going to be pretty hot, right? You have a little bit of LVN, and when I say LVN, you might not see it when it's like this narrow. But let me give you an idea, right? What about now? Do you see where we bounced?
Yeah.
I mean, they bounced literally off of the LVN, kind of protecting to see this, right? And the next level that would be is probably somewhere around here. They would probably fill this And they would come this, if you treat this whole area as an LVN, right? Without this little guy. If you treat this whole thing as an LVN, then, you know, if they encroach here, most likely we're headed to this area right here. Hopefully that makes sense, what I'm trying to explain to you guys. You see that we're in LVN, so if they push up now, I wouldn't be surprised if they defend this again tomorrow. Let's say they come to this POC and this little area that they have, like somewhere around here. If they come to this level again and they defend it, they could push this, you know, 58.65, which was our prior week POC. If they push that up there, that's highly likely. Over 58.20, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't go to 58.65 here slowly. Make sure I'm not making up levels. Thought I had 58.65, was it? Oh, this was 59.65. I'm sorry, 58.66 would be the next level that I would target for them again to come back to this. But there's a lot of overhead now. You guys see the overhead, the volume was built here, and if they can't find acceptance in any of these, you really should be cautious on buying just yet. You see how much volume was here, and where are we trading relative to that volume? A lot of people are buying these dips, guys, but I don't think we're over 7 or not even close to 10%. Let's see. We are at 7%, right on. That's nothing, guys. Do you guys like 7% discounts on on your shoes?
Hell no.
Need 25.
Well, I'm saying, like, when you're looking for stuff, I don't think you're necessarily looking for, hey, let me get 7% discount and I'll go all in and I'll buy it. So I don't necessarily think that this might be it. And the tariffs conversation, I don't think that's over yet. So let me just shift this to the. And here's your daily SVP, and then this one is also screaming. If you guys just look at this, what is this one telling you here? Between values, if you guys look. Is it bullish or bearish?
Bearish.
Go Bears.
I mean, you have the value, you're in the balance, you break out of the balance, and this is our first day, if you want to call this, you know, balance from here, let's say, to here. This was our, you know, they broke here, they regained it, they sold here. This is our first day that they confirmed they want to go lower now. So if tomorrow, you know, if they can't break this 58.20, we're looking for lower prices, right? We're looking 41, 5, 6, 7, 75, 5, 6, 49. And I'm pretty certain there's a VPOC somewhere around this area as well, 5,700 or so. There's a bunch of gaps in that area as well. Now, I would probably target this imbalance here at some point. This will be something they revisit sooner or later, this green zone. There's another one right here. That would be the last one, and there's one right here, 5,400. That's right, I think they're headed. Somewhere around here is, I think, their ultimate goal. Did anyone check maybe the PVP for the year? How's that for PVP for the year? Is that bullish?
No.
And if you think
Got a
about it,
big
just
support.
Seems in balance.
Yeah, so if you look here, we agreed, we failed twice, we talked about it, right? They came here, they tried to get back inside, and they rejected. And if you go on ES continuous, it might be a little bit better here. Just gonna hide the clouds. And on the continuous contract, let me hide this. 56.99, which comes down right to that 5700, and you can see that there's a major LVN somewhere in this area, that as it was on the previous, right, on the H contract. There's a major area here that they're going to be fighting, right, starting right here somewhere. So 57.31. So somewhere around here, and then they lose that. This is going to be a big fight, because if they lose this level of 56.95, yeah, I mean, then it opens up, right? I mean, eventually you're going to 4,800, and then you would have the VPOC at 5,200. While it might seem crazy that, oh, Shorty, that can't happen. Yeah, it can happen pretty quick, guys. And if you think about percentages, right, from here to here, this is only 7%, right? So that's not bad. And if they go from here to visit this VPOC here, that's a big level here. So if they lose 10%, I would know kind of where is the 10%, and 10% falls right here at 55.49, and then I would say 15% is right close to this POC here, maybe right on it. Exactly on the 52,400 is 15%. I would think 20% somewhere around here. So if they can't defend this level here, the 5690, let's call it 5700, this LVN, there's a high chance, guys, that we're going to here, 52. But I would expect buyers to show up right here, like we talked about. They would have this gap here, probably the magnet. And if you do something like this, I think this would be a fair level to target for a revisit. Something like this would be a fair level to be cautious on short side. Once they lose that, right? So if they catch a bounce, they fail to make higher highs, they do something like this, and then ultimately I would say this is the end of it. To me, if you think about 1987 and the inflation and how it happened, right? I don't think we're off the path to be, hitting some higher inflation numbers. And if this administration is not going to do any weird math calculations on the numbers, we might get a realistic view on, what we're seeing in terms of inflation. Because personally, just from my life, I'm not seeing any prices cheaper anywhere. So, and people will feel that soon.
Yep, not even gas.
So, yeah, everything's pointing towards 5,700, guys. Yeah.
So, is it safe to say that they might go up before it dumps all the way?
Based on what I'm seeing, just what I'm seeing from the price action that they're giving us, if we fail, let's say, to end this framing down tomorrow, and we break this level here, I don't think so. I think we go to 5,700 probably tomorrow. I would anticipate us to go to this green zone tomorrow if we can crack 5820. That's how I would play it, right? And I think these bounces is retail trying to buy it, and somebody's offloading here. And the big boys are not raising cash for no reason, right? To me, that's just not a coincidence. And I told you, some of my friends that I talked, they're also raising a lot of cash.
After hours is like 58.13 right now.
No, it jumped.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh man, they're at a pivotal level for tonight. Yeah, so I mean they failed a couple of times here right now above. So if they put in a new low here, most likely you're gonna see this revisited tonight. This zone here.
Yeah, it depends on what he says.
Oh, he's actually talking now. I tell you guys are not kidding.
No, he's talking right now.
He's talking right now. It's an informal meeting with the Congress.
Yes, he's in session with Congress. Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Apparently he didn't even prep for it. Oh,
So
he's going off the cuff.
Sierra prep for it. I'm sorry, but I don't
Good
think he
point.
preps.
Well, I think he preps, but he has a lot of freestyle added to
it. Yeah, yeah.
Everything he says is freestyle.
Yep. And some of the big stocks, I don't know if you guys paid attention to them. You know, they're hitting some of the levels that we wanted. We still have a little bit to go on Tesla before I'm interested in shares. So I think on Tesla we had some levels here, as I mentioned today. So this was the levels that I was watching for bounces on Tesla. 267 was one of them. They dipped a little bit below that, $6. And then they went as high as 284. So now if they lose 267, I would say very high odds that we're gonna go here, and this is where I'm looking to buy shares.
Despite the burning of the Tesla chargers?
I don't know about that. I just look at the chart.
No, I'm just thinking out loud. People start to attack Tesla and Tesla charging stations. I think Massachusetts, some people burned it down, so it's getting crazy. So would it be looking even much lower?
I'm targeting 220 to buy. I mean, I'm not gonna put all my chips there, but if it loses 220, for instance, right? So if you look at this chart, if it loses this zone, right? So if you go here and you look at it, I'm looking to buy at the bottom of this breakout level, value area low, right? So they came here, right? This is where they broke out, and I'm looking to kind of add between here and 220, which would be if you draw this zone like an FVP. Look where I'm looking to add. Maybe, you're talking about quite some time, almost a year worth of time or a couple of months. So I would anticipate that they come back here and offer a bounce, right? And if they go, let's say they go into this zone here, that's fine as well, right? I mean, if they revisit this level, I would be definitely a buyer in this area because I think that's where we were buyers last time in this area as well. Maybe here somewhere. So yeah, I'll definitely add some at 220. I'll add some shares. AMD hit one of the levels that we talked about today. I'm still not interested in AMD. I really wanted at 89 level. You probably could have gotten nice, bounce here somewhere 996ish or so when they dip below this, but I don't think it's going to work out. I think that. Yeah, I don't see it bouncing here just yet. I think we have lower prices because compression here wasn't really confident to me, at least the buying. I would think we can get it somewhere 86 or 89. Even then, on the video, I think we had the level of 110, if you guys remember. We had 110, maybe 113, but we talked about this level, and this is pretty pivotal for them to hold on the video. If you want to be a shareholder of this guy, let me just go 3 months here for a second. I'll go on daily, and you guys will see what I'm talking about. So here, there's lots of like confluences, right? So you have a little bit of here, right? Value area here, and look at the value that was created on this profile that's sitting right here. Is there really value here? Yeah, there's no way, right? So I'll be more interested if they come back somewhere, if they can go to 97, and ultimately I would like for them to visit this right here, and then that would be a decent buy. A great buy for me would be if they offer 75 on it. So I'll probably be interested in this area right here on the video for anyone. That's where I'll look to start adding, because everybody has that 100 level probably in their head. And what do you think they're going to do to that 100 level? They're probably going to slice it. Grab the liquidity and go. And I would anticipate to get this right here. And you can see, I mean, for some time they've been going 7 days. And even this, when you think about it, do you think this is a discount here? Probably not. Yeah, this is just bananas. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say it. Yeah. Did you guys buy it at 13? Should you guys be buyers of NVIDIA at $13?
Oh yeah.
What if I tell you that they committed fraud on their accounting and they lied about their financials?
Not touching
it. Then I'd want 12.
Then I would want it below 8. When you guys get scared, I'd like it here, right? I'm not saying this is a generational buy here, just FYI. There's probably room for it to fall even more. 50 being offered, I think this would be, I would buy a lot here in this green zone. This would be, so when you think about it, this discount here that they would offer you is, it's pretty good. But if there, for some reason, we get the sell off, this would be a great discount, right? Probably a lot of buyers would be here along with myself. What else? What other
SMCI, you want to take a look?
SMCI. Oh wow, it's
BAC.
holding. SMCI is holding pretty well where they need to hold, right? So they have to hold this area right here because otherwise they're in a shithole. Is this the company that got caught cheating, or am I thinking of something else?
No, you're correct, but they delayed their
earnings. The 10K, yeah, the 10K. Yeah. I remember, yeah.
Blamed it on their accounting firm.
Yeah, they're always the scapegoats, right? And if you look here, you have a outside value area, right? You have an outside value area of it. A rejection of the prior, right? And you see they're not able to crack that. So most likely, if you was to just look at this, this is headed to $24, and this is actually a pretty good short tomorrow. This wasn't, man, if I paid attention to this stock. Drew, why is this a short right here? This pattern, do you know what that is? 1, 2, 3. This is a really, really good short setup here. Peak above the value, gap down. Does anyone know what this is?
Morningstar or something?
Anyone else?
Diamond pattern.
Diamond? Have you guys ever heard of the abandoned baby pattern? Yeah, this is a pretty powerful. It's a 3-candle pattern, and when you see this and we peak above the value like this and sell, man, this is a really, really easy short. That's a bearish abandoned baby. This
just
3 right
curious,
here.
who comes up with these names?
I don't know, but it sounds horrible.
Yeah, we need a name. We need a list of all these names.
The patterns, or who came up with it?
Yeah, everything, the whole history.
Yeah, I don't know about the history. I can teach you the patterns. I don't know who the hell came up with the abandoned baby pattern and why.
Sounds like they should be analysts.
Somebody must have been going through a hard time of life at that point.
BAC. Oof, man. That's a nasty count. Seth, aren't you in the puts?
Yeah, it's up today, so I want more though. I'm thinking it's going to at least hit 39.
So this is area, obviously, if you look right now, right? I don't know when we talked about it. I think we talked about it a little bit higher, somewhere around here.
Hold on, let me look at mine.
I think we were up here in this area somewhere. Because we looked at XLF as well.
I think it was around Thursday last week.
Yeah,
I know it went up after I invested in it, but now it's dumped even further than it was. So it's making some money right now.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that, you're probably looking at 38 for exit. And then if we get lucky, I don't know when they start earnings, but 33 is, what's your date on the puts?
September.
Oh, dude, yeah, just wait till 33. 33 or like 29.
Yeah. Well, 30 is the strike, so.
What I would do personally, if I was in the puts like that, and that's what I typically do, you can sell some puts, right? Below it as well.
Right.
So that's what I do sometimes on 9 TC calls, right? I think we had the 30 strike calls, and then as we were approaching Intel, if you guys remember when we were coming up here, like to this liquidity zone, if you guys look at it, I said, man, I'm interested now at 26. I started selling some calls, right, for May. Then I sold more. They went negative. I just ramped up the selling, and the rest is history, right? So they're most likely gonna try to hold this level here. If they fail, then probably 19 and 1875. So some of the calls that I sold for like 215. They're like 37 cents right now. So somebody bought a bag from me. Hopefully none of you guys on Intel, because that was really not a long on Intel at that point. But somebody bought a lot of calls there on Intel. Sucks, but yeah, that's just part of the game. Zero-sum game, right?
Breakout trade.
Say it again.
Like a breakout trade.
Oh man, your mic's horrible. I cannot make up what you're saying. Sorry, I just couldn't. I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't make the rest of it. But yeah, this is a big level. What else do we have from big stocks? Meta. I mean, I think. Oh man, they came back to it. I don't know if you guys remember. We were targeting certainly the 650 with our puts, and then this was the next level that we won at 625.93. I guess they came right to it and they bounced. So now if they can reclaim this, they can reclaim and go to 700. So that'll be the next level. But when you look at it on the quarterly, this was their value where they built it above. So it makes sense where they bounced here. Totally, I guess that's why we marked it. Any other stocks you guys are looking at? Because sometimes they might give you a good discount, and look where we are on Meta right now. I would say it's a very important level for Meta right now. And the reason why I like this potentially maybe for a long, if we're able to crack this 650, guys, we're going 700. So probably not a bad idea to look at calls if we grab this. If we close above 640, let's say tomorrow, it's going to be a grind. It's going to be, a bunch of bullshit between here and here. And if you guys look, most likely we're headed to about 586. I would say be careful on this level right here, shorting anywhere here. Because there's two things that happen when you break out in balances like we did here. Do you guys know what that is? If you're breaking the balance, there's a high chance that they're coming back for that balance right here for the retest. And if they defend that, that would mean, hey, we're accepting prices higher. Want it to go higher. So Amazon, do you guys remember what we talked about not too long ago? I told you guys it was going to 200. And I think in one of the watch lists I mentioned, 200 puts would be a couple of months out when it was up here, probably doable. They're back to that 199.47 level that we had. And this is a big spot for Amazon right here. So if you guys recall, let me give you a monthly view so you guys can see it. So this was the prior balance that they had right here. Right. So what is it that you don't want them to break? Well, you don't want them to crack inside this balance right now, and that's a virgin POC. So I would anticipate at 187 that they're going to have what?
You're going to have some buyers there, I'm sure.
Yeah, guys, this is going to be a good zone for buyers. This would be a retest. Retail is going to hop in. This is going to be a fair price of last year's, right? 24. It's not a bad spot to look at some calls like 220s, 230s. What are we in March? Probably like July. If you see weakness that they crack this, what do you want to see then? If they crack it on the first retest, you want to see if they reclaim that, right? Quickly. But I'm pretty sure they're going to offer some bounce right here. FYI. What else do we have from big boys?
Shorty, can you look Illumina, ILMN? MN as in, yeah. The first. They just had a weird split, 1084 to 1000. So I'm not sure what's going on with this company.
What did they do?
A split, a 1028 to 1000 ratio.
Yeah, but what does this company do?
They make all sorts of testing equipments, pharmaceutical biotechnology.
I honestly would not touch it till they have a high chance to bounce right here, which 76, but this is the level I would want it. 46.66.
Okay. Yeah, I started watching it today.
Man, it's down quite a bit.
Yeah, they did the split.
Yeah, I see something odd going on here. Yeah, they gotta get 86.30 tomorrow for it to go higher. So yeah, I'm not really good for pharmaceuticals. I just like one stock out of all of them. This is the only one. And this one's looking like it wants to go lower, so. Well, I don't know. This one looks pretty tricky. You guys look. They can probably go 25. They're accumulating here for some time now. Perhaps a new COVID's coming or something's coming. So now they give us another test here, give us another spring. I can definitely run this.
Yeah, they dropped to 24.50, I believe, or 48, something like that, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
but they're big on measles vaccines as well. So
yeah, they control that market, like measles, mumps, and rubella. Yeah, they're the big ones. And supposedly there's a measles outbreak in Arizona, from what I hear. I don't know if it's true or not, but.
So far, what, 11 or 13 states has it?
No, really, I guess it's bigger than that. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to be selling the vaccines.
Hey, Shorty, would you buy TLT? Really?
Is it 89 or 88? Where is
91.
It? Yeah, 89.74. I'd buy it. Yeah, this is a pretty good buy here. How's the 10-year doing? Oh, man, oh, this is about to hurt some people here, guys. Mm. No, this doesn't look good though on the dollar. Yeah, the dollar's going lower. I think CLT is a good buy there. It's a good hedge at least. If gold comes back to this 28.01, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good buy. FYI. Be a pretty good level to look to add on it. I know there's some of you guys that trade it.
Not sure if you had a chance to see, but Enphase Energy had a nice bounce up today from StockScan over the weekend.
Oh, nice. Did you get any?
Yeah, I got a couple shares, just small.
Oh man, this is a pretty good looking candle on it on daily. That's a massive bullish engulfing. Pizza had a day. I don't know. My portfolio was Pizza had a day, guys. I mean, Pizza can run here, guys. If they take care of business tomorrow, right here, Good luck catching this guy. And I ate pizza at Papa John's tonight. I'm just saying the $33 is going to contribute to their revenue.
Shorty, what's your target on the SPY puts in March?
So the SPY, I mean, that was my first one, was, you know, the 572 was the level that we were watching, because we had the 580 and 570 puts, at least I did. So this was the first level that I was watching, right? And obviously they offered a bounce here. So if they lose this, it's kind of clear where they're headed to next, right? So after that, they're looking at 560, right? And then I would ultimately think this is a really big level, right? So if you go back, I like to look at 3 months just because how far I'm playing the options. So if you look here, so you have, you know, you have quarterly 563 to about 559. That would be the next zone. So about $10 right below. I would really tighten up here. Here today alone, we had $10 bounce from this level, right? So it's not like it's not doable quickly tomorrow. Actually, you know, they bounced $10 here, a little bit more, $13 from this level, and then they dumped back up. So this will be the next levels right here, 559, maybe 562 to here.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Yep. And then if they decide to, let's say, like, oh, we're out, well, man, 518 becomes a really, really big magnet. Like, would not be surprised if we visit that shortly. At some point, when you look at this market, the way we've been moving, you know, we're gonna have to retest some of this right here. Like, there's a lot of overlap, a lot of balance here. You know, they're gonna make sure. On the bigger scheme of things, right? We haven't really taken a dip yet, guys. A dip would look like something like this. You know, they come back, let's say, to this level. That would be a dip. What people are calling a dip right now, I personally don't call that a dip. You know, a couple of percent points is, it's not that much.
There's a gap at 505 on SPY.
I'm sure there's, I don't know if you guys know, but there's a little indicator called gaps. Let me make sure you guys know it. This one. This one has a bunch of gaps. I guess if you guys look at them, it'll highlight all of the ones that you have. So I guess the one that you are calling out right here, some of them are filled, right? This one was filled. You can use this on SPX as well. So yeah, the 5100 looks pretty promising for a revisit. But yeah, I mean, I think 56 will be a really good SPX level for long right here. Which kind of lines up with DS, what we were talking about earlier, if you guys remember. Same zone, similar. All right, guys. Well, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I'll trade live with you guys tomorrow. I had some. Well, I'll be on. I have 3 kids again tomorrow with me, but I have a nanny coming in, so we'll see how that goes.
Awesome. Thank you, Shorty.
Thanks, Shorty.
Right, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye bye.
Good night.